Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Monday. It is May the 29th, 2017. Gonna look at the stakes races on today's program from Belmont, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Get 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. So let's get on to it. The stakes races I'll be looking at are all of them races 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get on to it, starting off with race number 4 from Belmont, The fourth race. It's the 39th running of the Mount Vernon Stakes. Purse $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, New York breds, like all these stakes races are. A field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or 1 mile on the Widener turf course. And I will be showing the diagram. It gives me a second to look down at my notes, so just bear with me. 1 mile. My top pick in this one, I like the number 6 horse. Number 6, Flip Cup. I'm going to go 6, 7, 5, 8 in the superfecta. 6, 7, 5, 8 super, but my top pick, number 6, Flip Cup. 8-1, John Velasquez for Belmont. This horse is coming off of a start at Keeneland. Yielding going April the 22nd, mile 16th in allowance race for $73,000. This horse finished 6 by 3 3/4 lengths that day. And, just didn't do anything. Beat one horse home, but it was her first start off the layoff, and I think she might have needed that race. I think second off, this horse should have a better run. Start before in a La Provente handicap at Gulfstream Park, mile and a half, January 28th. This horse finished 10th by 9 lengths that day behind Suffuse and Arles. A very tough race that was that day. And this horse is wide and just had nothing left. The mile and a half distance might have been a little bit too long for this horse that day. And then Gulfstream Park, mile 3/16, and just basic overnight stakes. Horse finished third by half length at 41-1. Closed up a lot at the end, but just missed. Was a big third place finish though. Has experience here at Belmont on the turf course. That came in the Head Tanger Stakes at last September. Finished eighth that day by 6.5 lengths. Was a little bit wide, and you don't want to have a wide trip on the inner turf course. This horse's last win. You have to go back to the Arlington Matron Stakes at Arlington last Memorial Day weekend. Horse won by a neck. Really had a great turn of foot in the stretch, an all-around great victory. I think I'll run a big one here today. I want to take my chances with him. So to recap my bets for race number 4 from Belmont, it's the 39th running of the Mount Vernon. Gonna go with the 6-horse Flip Cup. I'm gonna go 6, 7, 5, 8 in the superfecta. To race number 6 now from Belmont, the 6th race is the 4th running of the Critical Eye Stakes. Purse $200,000. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 11 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1 mile or 1,600 meters. 1 mile. My top pick in this one, I like the number 2 horse, number 2 Wonderment. I'm going to go 2-11-5-4, 2-11-5-4 super, but my top pick, number 2 Wonderment, 6-1. Joe, sorry for Kenny McPeak. This horse had to start about a month ago at Keeneland, April the 23rd, 7 furlongs and Optional Lady Claimer. Horse finished third by 3 3/4 lengths. Off the layoff, I think she needed the race. It was a little bit wide and kind of hung in the stretch. Didn't advance, but didn't weaken out of it either. I think today, second off the layoff, coming back to Belmont where this horse has had success, she should run a big one. Start before at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs in New York Stallion Stakes. This horse finished 5th by 6 3/4 lengths that day, and just didn't do anything. Got bumped a few times and just tired in the stretch. It just wasn't his day to win. And then at Belmont in the Iroquois last 4 on a very sloppy race course. This horse finished second by 5 1/4 lengths behind Quizan. Was a little bit wide, closed up a little bit that day, but the way the track was playing that showcase day, horses were either handling the slop or weren't, and this horse did okay in the slop, but last year ran okay. Won the Bourbon at Oaks at Turfway last year, but after that didn't win anything, but ran some tough races across New York and the world. Not the world, North America. But I think this horse is due for another victory here today. Sprinting, going to this elongated sprint. This horse should do a lot better, so watch out for this one. So to recap my bets for the 6th from Belmont, it's the 4th running of the Critical Eye. Going to go with the 2-horse Wonderment. I'm going to go 2-11-5-4 in the superfecta. To race number 7 now from Belmont Park, it's the beginning of the $250,000 guaranteed late pick 4. The 7th race is the 38th running of the Mike Lee Stakes. Purse $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds New York breds. Field of 10 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs here on the main track. 7 furlongs. My top pick in this one, and I might play a cheap pick 4 ticket. I like the 6 horse Syndergaard as top pick. I think he's going to run a big one. I'm going to go 6-5-1-9 in the superfecta, 6-5-1-9 super. My top pick will go to the 6 horse Syndergaard. But if I play the pick 4, here's the thing. If I single Syndergaard, or do I go too deep with Bobby on fleek? I'm not sure about that, but for sure Syndergaard. 2-1. John Velasquez for Todd Pletcher. This 3-0 colt at a majestic perfection. This horse is a speedy horse. Most recently at Churchill, down 6 furlongs into William Walker. He suffered his third loss of his career. He finished 5th that day by 3 3/4 lengths. It's a 30 cents to $1 favorite. He had to steady a few times. Just wasn't getting a good handle to the racetrack. Coming back to Belmont Park, where this horse ran okay in the fall, I think he should run a lot better. Start before November the 5th at Santa Anita, mile 16th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Horse finished 5th by 13 1/4 lengths. I want to pick that horse. That day I did not pick that horse. I don't think this horse will be a good 2-turn horse. I think he's going to be a good 1-turn miler at the most. But he finished 5th by 13 1/4 lengths that day. Was on the lead early on, but then weakened out of it. Just wasn't his day to win. And then the Champagne at Belmont, 1 mile, October the 8th. Horse finished second by nose that day, was just under 2-1, but he set some very fast fractions. He went 44 3 to the half, 108 3 to the 3/4, and he just missed by the wire. Disappointing beat, but he did run a little bit too fast. If he could slow it down today, he should do a lot better. But before that, he won the Funny Side Stakes at Saratoga and broke his maiden very nicely at Saratoga. I think second off the layoff, back to Belmont. This horse should have a very good run, so I'll use him as a top pick. So to recap my bets for the 7th from Belmont, it's the 38th, Mike Lee. Going to go with the 6 horse Syndergaard. I'm going to go 6-5-1-9 in the superfecta. To race number 8 now from Belmont Park, the 8th race. It's kind of the feature. It's the 5th running of the Commentator Stakes. Purse $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds, New York breds here. Fields 11 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the Big Sandy race course. 1 mile. My top pick in this one, I like the number 6 horse, Royal Posse. I'm going to go 6-9-5-4, 6-9-5-4 super, but my top pick, number 6, Royal Posse, 4-1, Javier Castellano for Rudy Rodriguez. This horse has been around the block a few times, most recently earlier this month at Belmont, mile 3/8 in the flat-out stakes, the prep race for the Brooklyn Handicap. He finished 3rd by 12 lengths that day. Had bobbled a little bit at the start, was a little bit in tight a few times. I think coming back to a mile, this horse should do a lot better. And second off the layoff, he should do a lot better. Start before it March the 12th at Aqueduct, mile 8th in the Stymie. Horse finished 6 by 5 lengths that day. It was just about 6-1 that day, or 5.5-1, excuse me. And, he was wide that day. You don't want to be wide on the main track, and just didn't have nothing. It wasn't his day to win. He does not like the inner track, this horse. Thank God they're ripping it out and putting it with the turf course this year. But, this horse's worst surface in New York had to be the inner track. He's over his last 4, at least. It might be even more. But if you take out the inner track races, he's run pretty well. Last fall, he won the Claim Crown Jewel, won the Empire Classic here very nicely, won the Evans Shipman, won the Alydar, and finished second to Saginaw here at Belmont. And last year on the mud, he finished second in this race. If we get a dry track today, I think I'll love it. Watch out for this one at the end at 4-1. So to recap my bets for the 8th from Belmont, it's the 5th Commentator Stakes. Going to go with the 6 horse here. Going to go 6-9-5-4 in the superfecta. To race number 9 from Belmont Park, it's the 39th running of the Kingston Stakes. Purse $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, New York breds. Fields of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the Widener turf course. 1 mile. My top pick in this one, I like the number 2 horse, Lubosh. I'm going to go 2-5-8-1, 2-5-8-1 superfecta. My top pick, number 2, Lubosh, 5-1. I ride Ortiz Jr. for Christophe Clement, this 10-year-old horse out of Frood, who's out of Stormcat. This horse has been around the block quite a few times. Most recently, this horse ran April 29th down at Gulfstream Park, 1 mile on the Miami Mile. This horse finished 3rd by length that day. And, just that mid-pack that day was a little bit wide at the stretch, but closed up, he closed up a tiny bit. First off the layoff, he kind of expect him not to be at his A game. I think second off, he should run a little bit better of a race. Start before at Gulfstream Park West Calder Race Course, and mile 16th in a Tropical Park handicap. So horse finished second by 1/4 lengths, but got placed first due to disqualification of the winner, Rose Briere. And this horse was wide that day. Had to check a few times in stretch, but he got the second place finish, but he got checked by the winner, and it was a right disqualification of him to let this horse go up. Wasn't a half bad race at all. He won 2 in a row actually. Start 4 an optional Lady Claimer at Belmont, mile 16th, 17th. Horse won by half length that day. Quickened up nicely in the straightaway. It was an all-around great race. He won twice last year out of 5 offerings. Before that, he finished 4th in the Forbidden Apple, 4th in this race last year, and then at Belmont last spring, he finished 5th that day in just a basic $100,000 stakes, overnight stakes. But he does well in this race, in these kind of state-bred turf races. He won this race in 2015. I think he's going to run a big one here today, second off the layoff. Watch out for this one today. So to recap my bets for the 9th from Belmont, it's the 39th Kingston Stakes. Going to go with the 2-horse Lubash. I'm going to go 2-5-8-1 in the superfecta. To race number 10 now from Belmont, the final race on the program, final leg of the pick 4. It's the 40th running of the Bowery Stakes, purse $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds and New York breds. Field of 11 horses going the distance of ground of 7 furlongs or 1,400 meters, whatever you want to go by. 7 furlongs. My top pick in this one, I like the number 3 horse. Number 3, Bluegrass Flag. Gonna go 3-1-9-8 in the superfecta. 3-1-9-8 super, but my top pick, number 3, Bluegrass Flag. 3-1. Kendrick Hare moves for Tom Morley, who trains this 3-year-old filly out of Bluegrass Cat. Most recently, this horse had a start on the 22nd of April. That came at Aqueduct, where this horse has run all her career starts in the New York Stallion Stakes. Horse won by 6 lengths that day, and quickened up nicely on the lead all throughout. Had a very easy, clear victory at almost 4-1. Just an all-around great race. Start before on the Rest in Peace inner track at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, March 25th in the Cicada Stakes. Horse won by 6 lengths. It was only field 3 horses, and this horse quickened up nicely. Easy victory. Personally, I don't think the Cicada Stakes will be around for that long anymore, because the last 2 years, I think this year you had a 3-horse field, last year you had a 4-horse field, now you think the year before you had another 4-horse field. If they bring it back this year, I doubt it. I really doubt it. I have to say that. But back to this horse. He finished second to Franklin Square a month earlier. Her second career loss, and won main special weight on their track at Aqueduct very nicely back in January. I think she's going to run a big one here today, facing Stakes Company for the 3rd time. A little bit of a layoff. She's good for this one. Watch out for this one. So to recap my bets for the 10th from Belmont, it's the 40th at Bowery. Going to go with the 3-horse Bluegrass Flag. I'm going to go 3-1-9-8 in the superfecta. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5.